Hi guys, what's up? It's your girl Charla from That Girl Cooks Healthy. Today I'm gonna show you how to make this super easy Caribbean style smoked heron recipe. Great for anybody who is a seafood or fish lover. It's a delicious, easy, nutritious recipe to make. I cannot wait to show you guys how to make it, so let's get to it. So these are the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need some red herring, specifically red herring for this recipe. Now, red herring is typically cured, so that means it's salted. So with this recipe, I do recommend just consuming it in moderation, because even though we will be getting rid of the salt content, I typically don't really like to promote salt fish and fish that is really salted. I have my own DIY version of making saltfish, but for the red herring I don't have an alternative right now, so I really wanted to show this recipe review. So you're going to need red herring, which is smoked, and I also have red herring that is whole with the skin on. It doesn't look attractive, so please stick with me, and I promise the end results will be worth it. If you can get the fillet instead, use the fillet, because it is easier to work with and it's also aesthetically better looking as well. So anyway, whichever one you can get, then just use that. So you're also going to need some bell peppers. So I have some red and yellow bell peppers. Any colored bell pepper will work for the recipe, doesn't really matter about the color. You're also going to need some tomatoes. I have some fresh chopped tomato and some tomato puree, some onion and garlic. I have half a Scotch bonnet chopped up. That will give it a bit of heat. If you don't want any heat, or you want a small amount of heat, then you need to either omit it completely or just adjust it using a small amount. Seasoning wise, I have some shadow beni, I have some fresh thyme, some smoked paprika. I also have some seafood seasoning and some black pepper. So the first thing we need to do now is to place the herring in some boiling water. So the skin, whether you're using whole herring or fillets, is typically thick. It's quite tough. So what we need to do now is we need to desalt it. So you want to desalt it, and we also want to soften the herring as well. So what I do is I leave this to soak for several hours, and during that time I change the water a few times. So this is to get rid of the saltiness. How salty you guys want yours is up to you. I don't really like my herring salty, so I change the water a few times, and you can also boil it as well if you want after you've changed the water, but it does depend on how you want your red herring to be. So this is what the herring looks like after a few hours and changing the water a few times. As you can see, the water does change color, and also it does have some oil, some slick of oil on top, because herring is an oily fish. And I'm just going to just show you by just putting my hand in the water. As you can see, the skin has just started to just separate from the actual meat inside. If you have the fillet, that's not going to happen, so I'm going to just put it to the side now because I'm ready to use it. So this is what the herring looks like once I've drained it. This is whole herring, keep in mind, so it's going to look different from the fillet, and I need to now just separate it from the bones and also from the skin. So I'm going to show you how I do that, and then I'm going to do the rest of it on camera, because it's a tedious job and you guys don't really want to just see me just taking what feels like forever to debone it. The bones are harmless, by the way. They're like thread bones, so they're not really gonna, if you do catch any, then they're not the type of bones like in snapper or something where, you know, you potentially could choke or anything like that. So you just want to separate them as best as you can, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like once I've completely deboned and skinned the herring. So this is what the herring looks like now that it's flaked. You see, it looks a lot better now. It's a lot prettier. Just going to show you that it's completely deboned and it looks a lot pretty to work with. So I'm just going to put that to a side. So now I have a large saucepan, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some oil and just have it on medium heat, and I'm going to wait for that to heat up. And once it heats up, I'm just going to add my onion and garlics, and I'm going to saute that until they're soft and translucent. So now that the onions and garlic is translucent, I'm going to add the bell peppers, and I'm just going to continue to cook for a few minutes until they are soft. So now I'm going to add my tomato, so my fresh tomato, my tomato puree. Then I'm going to add my seasoning, so that's the chadon, beni, thyme, the seafood seasoning, and smoked paprika and black pepper. And also I'm going to add my scotch bonnet as well. So once I add all of those ingredients, I'm just going to fold it in with the vegetables, and again I'm just going to continue to cook that just for a few minutes until it's pretty much incorporated with the rest of the vegetables. So what I'm going to do now is to just add that flaked herring, and because it's already cooked, all I'm going to do now is just let it heat through. So I'm just going to fold it in with the rest of the vegetables and just allow it to heat through. So that's just going to take a few minutes to fold in and just to heat through. At this time you might want to do a taste test of the herring, and you might want to add, for example, some salt. I mean, I don't know if you want to add salt, but you know, it might be too bland for you or fresh for you now from soaking it and boiling it, if you decided to boil it too. So just do a taste test just to check if it's okay for you. So that's how you make smoked herring Caribbean style. Really simple recipe that you can have for breakfast, lunch or dinner. You can pair it with some vegetables or some coconut dumpling like I have in the video, and also some pear, also known as avocado as well. So thank you so much for watching the video. I do hope you do try it, despite the fact that the whole herring did not look too pretty, but I do hope you still manage to make the recipe and just see through it. Thank you again, and I will catch you on the other side.